Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Happy Sunday evening, June 19th, 2022, and happy Father's Day to all the father figures out there, as it is Father's Day on this Sunday, June 19th. It is the anniversary, 6-year anniversary of the Cavs winning the championship. It is Juneteenth as well, so celebrating freedom on this day as well. And this is a Father's Day edition of the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network. And once again, on behalf of the show, we want to wish all of the father figures out there, our fathers, and anybody else who is being celebrated today, happy Father's Day on behalf of the Voice of the Land, which is also partnered with LPV Productions and sponsored by Vector Technical. They will get the right person and the right job the first time. Be sure to keep track of the show. We'll have more information. If you're looking for a job out there, needing some help, we got more information from Vector Technical later on throughout the show. You will see that. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. With me on the other side of the table, it is Always Positive Jay. I always want to say with me as always, like I used to when we started the show when Paulus was here, but it's hard to say. And with me as always positive. Just say it back to back. Double always. So
yeah, I'm always here though.
Sometimes, I mean, maybe you're almost positive, Jay. Sometimes
I'm pretty mad, Jay, but today I'm pretty positive.
Am I rubbing off on you, like taking the always tag away from you a little bit?
Nah.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure.
You're not a negative person.
Sometimes I fear that. Like, I look at things so realistically. Sometimes I think like I drag you into that instead of being positive all the time, like always positive, Jay says. But as long as I'm not rubbing off on you too much,
we try to be realistic and find the positive in every negative. So
yeah, we just give you the realistic view of what's going on to try to help you so that you don't get caught in the fake space known as Twitter or that deep rabbit hole of the fake element of Twitter. There's realism in Twitter.
There's a lot of good.
And there's a lot of good on there.
It's the best of the world and the worst of the world at the exact same time.
Yeah, the worst of the world section, and when you get into like the sports world and like the worst side of that, that's where it just becomes really fake. And we want to help you sift through it so that what you're truly feeling about your teams here in Cleveland, you're not alone in thinking those things. And producing the show tonight to help us bring these realistic views is our producer extraordinaire, the AI system, what Jarvis is to Iron Man, audio is to the Voice of the Land, Peter Tellup. How's it going tonight, Peter?
Oh, pretty good.
We got a lot to get into tonight. I know we
loaded show tonight.
Loaded show, and I know that we usually start with prayers, well wishes. We don't really have much. I mean, we want to send well wishes out to all the fathers, father figures, like we said on the show. It is a Father's Day edition, and all of the elements of the show have been previously recorded. We are recording on Saturday, so this is not live, even though the bottom left-hand corner of your viewing device may say live. If you're listening to the audio, this doesn't matter to you at all, and we apologize for the inconvenience of this PSA. But it is being aired on Father's Day, and we want to give all the well wishes to father figures. The father of the show, audio, Peter Tellup, while we're recording on Saturdays so that he can spend time with his kids and his family, and then of course, if we are able to spend time with our dads and things like that, just giving time to do that, because we don't, life gets busy. You don't always get a chance to do that. I will say the prayers that we want to send though are out to a friend in this industry that we, especially Peter and myself, have, who unfortunately passed away suddenly. On air personality, he went by Jay Allen, but we knew him as Justin McKendry, a great person, was going to be doing big things. He was working out in the rain and radio, and he was going to be doing a lot of good things for their high school coverage because they already do a great job on radio out there, and he was going to enhance that a lot. There's another guy that I know, Dave Rivera, out there who does a great job with that, and to hear that news was very shocking, and I just want to send prayers to his family, his friends, anyone who's worked with him. And, of course, Peter, you worked much closer with him. He did some play-by-play for you before we started CVC TV when you guys were doing stuff at Bedford. So prayers, definitely.
Yeah, it was a shock, to say the least. I was looking forward to working with Jay again, possibly this fall, and there are a lot of things that he wanted to do, and it's just a shame. And like I said, I'm still kind of shocked about it. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know that it's set in because I saw him posting stuff on Facebook and everything very recently, and then, I saw an obituary. Dave Rivera was the first one that I saw on Facebook that posted his obituary, and like I thought that, like I didn't think it was real, but I mean, like those reactions can happen when the unfortunate side of life, the realistic side of life is, life is precious, and take every day the way that you can. And as we say at the end of the show now, but I mean, I got to remind everyone, late great friend Mike Allen, who unfortunately suddenly passed away as well very recently, and was also a big part of high school coverage, and was going to be bringing a lot of that kind of stuff as well as a cameraman, and just a great friend, great husband, great father. Mike Allen, he always used to say, live life all gas, no brakes. And I mean, I know that people probably heard that before, but you know what? Do what you got to do. If there's something that you want to go after, don't hesitate, go after it. And that's kind of what we're doing with this show, but we're building it up to bring the show along with us.
That's why I love the
journey.
country song "Live Life Like You're Dying."
yeah, that's
Like
a great song.
you just every day is precious, man. You never know. Anything can happen at any moment, so live life like you're dying.
And we can go down, and we always get into philosophical conversations on here, and that's why we always end up going way over our time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that we gave just due to those prayers on the show today.
Well, I'm sorry about your guys' loss, man.
We appreciate it. But especially prayers to those that were even closer to him during this difficult time. But I know one of the teams that he was a big fan of, and going to be watching from up above, watching how they progress as this young team, the Guardians team. And since we are recording on Saturday, we're recording before they even play the Dodgers on Saturday night, let alone the show airs probably just as the game against the Dodgers, the third game, ends. Maybe it just ends before the show actually gets put on.
Here, watch. Oh my God, they won again! Yeah. And in case they lost, damn it.
Oh,
We got both reactions. We're good.
There you go.
Oh, they lost the series. Oh my God, they swept them. Woohoo!
We got them both in there. We're covered.
2 out of 1. That's exactly what you got to do. Go win the series. There you go. Every base is covered. Every base is covered here.
Now we do know they won that first one, which was a big game.
Yes, and to win that in extras, and to win on the only runs they scored were on 2 sacrifice flies. I mean, everybody thought, okay, they're beating up on bad teams. You win at least one game against perennial contender in the LA Dodgers on the West Coast. That shows you that what they're instilling, what Terry Francona has instilled in this young roster, this young team that's being put out there, whether for injuries or just because not making any moves, the spots were there and young guys took advantage of it. They're playing well. Will the roller coaster continue? Probably. It's baseball. It's a long season.
That's what happens.
But they're showing you that. Are they showing you that this is sustainable?
I think it is. And
Even
one,
with-
their pitching's huge. Like, pitching is the most important thing in baseball, obviously. Even though we all love hitting, pitching's most important. And their pitching staff has been phenomenal this year. And hitting, like we keep saying, I would like to see him bring another bat in. But our guy, Jose, he's sustainable. Like, he's almost single-handedly willing this team to win. And we got young guys stepping up, too. But Jose is the leader of this team, and he's on a historical pace right now. And like I was telling you, when all said and done, I think this dude's going to be the greatest position player in Tribe history / Guardians history.
And Peter, with most other managers, I don't think we'd be getting this kind of, even to this point into June, I don't think we'd be getting this much out of this team. They're 6 games above 500. They're 33-27 going into today. We don't want to focus on that because we're going to miss 2 whole games that are going to play a big role and especially when we start posting clips. Like, that's not going to, by the time this airs, and if you're listening on Google, Spotify, Apple, it's not going to matter anyways because you're already going to know what happened. We've given you the reactions. But again, I don't think that with this young team, any other manager would get this kind of production out of them. But it does show you why this front office has been touted for so long, right, Peter? Because the young talent that they that they notice, that their scouts take note of, and they bring them in, they develop most of them right. Outfield, not always, but for the most part.
Yeah, and I think that really goes to the fact that, we're a smaller market. We don't have the deep pockets to go out and buy a championship team, and even if Dolan had the money, which he probably does, that he wouldn't spend it anyways.
No, we got a minority owner,
That's huge.
I hope that is the influx of cash that the organization needs, that they're going to actually spend to get us over the hump. But
make trades for Andrew Benintendi. I mean, that'd be awesome. I'm willing this into existence. Every show,
put it out in the universe.
Say trade for Andrew Benintendi until he gets here, or the trade deadline, or he's somewhere else.
But we've had most of our successes come from the fact that we have such a great farm system, and to the fact that we've been able to leverage, chunks of that farm system to bring in veterans when we need them. I mean, that's how good our farm system is. So,
well, and you mentioned Jose, Jay. I mean, that wasn't a guy that was a highly touted prospect, but he has found his way to being among the best, if not one of the top 3 top players in all of baseball right now.
When he was brought up, I'm pretty sure his thing was he was a hustler and he was utility, and he can play pretty much anywhere.
I mean, Zach Meisel of The Athletic doing the helmet counter is not just for just Twitter fun. No, like it's because Jose's hustling in that helmet. Like he just leans that head back instead of putting his head down and sprinting. Like this guy finds another gear when he leans his head back and this helmet goes flying.
And I love him so much, and I appreciate that he doesn't care for the spotlight. But can we mic this guy up more? Oh, that was hilarious, the clip of him talking to Freddie Freeman. He goes, oh, yeah, you got your gold glove. He goes, you're a really good hitter. Not as good as me. I was like, yes. I love that guy. He's quickly becoming my all-time favorite player for Cleveland baseball ever, dude. Real fast. And I'm a kid from the 90s that grew up watching phenomenal hitters and position players like Omar, Manny, Jim Thome, Albert Bell. And he's surpassing all these, and he's just a little guy. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine what he's saying, because these guys that are speak English as a second language, they got to learn English, and credit to him and all these players that do. But imagine what he's saying, just because when he's able to just talk to everybody else and talking in Spanish and stuff. I want more of the. I want
personality
more of the character,
of Jose.
The personality.
Well, he got the trash talking down in English, so there you go. That's important.
I mean, that's probably.
Andre Knott has said he can speak better English. People think he just doesn't care about the spotlight.
No,
because he just wants to play baseball. He just likes playing ball, and I respect it a lot.
And that's the exact kind of athlete that a city like Cleveland, with their fans. With our fans, fellow fans, that's the type of player you get behind. You get behind a Jose Ramirez. You get behind a Nick Chubb. You get behind a Darius Garland, Evan Mobley type player. I mean, the young talent in this town right now is on a different level.
And he's different, too, with the media. He's not like how Barry Bonds was, standoffish and just didn't like the media. He's very kind. He's just the nicest dude in the world, it seems like.
I mean, he messes with Andre as much as Mustard does,
Exactly.
and they all love it. That's just what it is, and it's a family atmosphere. It's a team atmosphere. They're doing the little things. And
like you said, that comes back to Tito.
Yeah, and Tito is the best person to be in front of this team. I tweeted out, I think earlier today, and was quote tweeting a soccer picture, a soccer video, and I'm not trying to bring soccer into this, but it was the U.S. men's national team, who have not had nearly as much success and developed their players as well as the women have. And you've seen a lot of when the women's team is playing, they're all together. They're all friends. They're doing TikToks together, Twitter videos together, going out to dinner. These guys just went through a three-week camp, and they played they played a couple friendlies, and they played in this Nations League that is an ongoing tournament in each section of the world that they recently won, I think, back in 2021 in the final against Mexico. So now it's restarted because everything's pushed back. They could be going on vacation right now because a lot of the club seasons are done except for the MLS here in America. they are getting together. They are vacationing together. There are images of them vacationing together and having a great time. Not something we've seen in the past.
Similar to what the Browns have been doing right now.
What the Browns have been doing. The Guardians, the Cleveland baseball organization, we've seen no matter who comes in here, it just seems like that camaraderie, that, kind of hanging out, joking around, being able to, kind of give each other a hard time in a fun way. That's always been there. That's a little thing that goes a long way when you're trying to contend, when you're trying to build a team to
Especially
contend.
during a long, long, long season. If you're just out there not having fun, that season's going to feel 5 times longer than what it is.
So, and I think the conversation, since we don't know what is actually happening in the games, the conversation is what we're having right now. It's a young team, but the culture is already in place because of Terry Francona, and it's young guys that kind of all been around the same age, so they're able to connect, and that family atmosphere just continues as younger players come up because they've been playing together in the minors for so long. And I think the biggest piece of this to talk about with this baseball team, this baseball organization, as much as we don't like the Dolans, I do not. And that's not anything against them personally. As professional sports owners, what they haven't done, I cannot get behind. I can't give them a pass for anything.
Kevin, that's a pretty popular
Right.
opinion in this city. I don't know if you knew that.
Right, but where you still have to give them credit and give this organization credit, the broader conversation about why this team is having some success this year, and it'll still ebb and flow, is because they put the right people in place in the front office. They have the right developmental staff, and they've put themselves in such a place where even if they're kind of rebuilding right now, it's more so like they're retooling and getting a lot of young guys experience and still competing at the highest level while doing it, so that you don't have to wait 10, 15 years.
I mean, they're definitely not rebuilding. They're retooling for sure. Like, I would have thought this was a rebuild year for sure at the beginning of the year. Like I've been saying, they're exceeding my expectations big time, which I'm unbelievably happy about. And right now we got a big stretch coming up, Kevin.
Yeah.
And that's just when we're going to know. Like, right around the All-Star break is what this team is really about. We have, 9 games or 8 games with Minnesota coming up?
8 games, because they're going to – so you finish off with the Dodgers, and then as people are listening to this throughout the week, they get a day off on Monday. Then they play 3 games in Minnesota, come home for a weekend series against Boston.
Who they're fighting for their division.
And then you turn around and play Minnesota again at home with 5 games, because that's one of the postponements. So there's it was originally scheduled as a 4-game series during the middle of the week, and then there's a 2-gamer in like the second day.
So it's a rain-out doubleheader.
Doubleheader. So you're going to play 8 games against Minnesota between the 21st and the 30th of this month.
That pitching staff it's in for some work.
And you're really going to know what this team is like, because then guess what? Who comes into town that weekend? So you do this coming, like next weekend is Boston. The following weekend, leading into July 4th, is the New York Yankees. And then you go on the road for like this long...
I think a 10-day road trip, yeah.
Yeah, you go back on the road for a 10-day road trip before you get a day off on July 7th.
the Yankees are coming here then?
Yeah,
the Yankees are coming here.
We need to go there. We need to go to one of these games. I don't know what day they're on, but all 3 of us need to go to that game.
Yeah,
I've never been to a Yankees game.
I have. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to go to one of the playoff games when the Indians at the time turned around and beat the Yankees. It was when they turned that series around. It had to be like 97.
Oh,
in
nice.
The 97 series. Yeah, it was amazing. It was just such the atmosphere down there.
Jarrett Wright, Chad OJ.
Yeah, we'll see if we can
Charles Nagy.
We'll see if we can get some tickets for
we'll try.
weekend.
We'll see if we can work that out. Just remember, if you get into a conversation or something with a Yankees fan, just remember when they're trying to tell you that they're a diehard fan, remember they're probably also wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat
and a Lakers jersey.
And a Lakers jersey or shorts or whatever it is underneath. So, and they're not like a Lakers, like LeBron Lakers either. Like, this is just They don't know that the Lakers were actually bad this year, because they didn't pay attention, because they didn't care. When the Lakers are good again, don't worry, that purple and gold will kind of go across the
they'll be everywhere
black and
again.
white pinstripes of the Yankees and the blue and silver of the Cowboys. Don't worry. So take that with a grain of salt. But it would be cool to see that. And with this long stretch, we're going to talk a lot about Guardians baseball here and have actual games to talk about, because we're going to know a lot by July 4th and even into that first week of July. You got a tough stretch coming up. Tito will just tell them one day at a time, hey, you lost yesterday. What's your job coming to the ballpark today?
Win today.
Win today. And that's what he's always done and will always do. That is going to bring us to our first break of the evening, though. So those tuning in on Sunday night, stay with us. Some information from our partner, Vector Technical, here in the break. This is Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. Kevin Arnold, alongside Always Positive Jay, and audio art producer, better known as Peter Tellep. We've been talking Guardians baseball. We're going to talk a little Cavs and some NBA basketball here in the second segment. But before we do that, because I forgot to tease this in the first, be sure to stick around for the end, because if you've ever wanted to dunk one of us, or at least the guy on the other side of the table, and if you can't, you're listening to the audio earlier in the week on Google, Spotify, or Apple, and you're not following us at VTL_pod and Big Play across all social media sites, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to all of our YouTube channels. Shameless plugs. I am pointing across the table to Always Positive Jay. You're going to have a chance to put him down into a dunk tank. We'll tell you exactly how you can do that later on the show, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of Voice of the Land here tonight. But we were talking Guardians baseball, and we've seen a youth movement there. We're this youth movement of, hey, it's fun to watch this team turning to, hey, could they make some noise come postseason time type conversation. You know who started that here in this town? That's right, your Cleveland Cavaliers. And, you know, we'll give some of our memories a little bit later, but I'm repping the LeBron blocking Andre Iguodala on
Blocked by James.
Yeah.
Love that call.
The chase down.
Love that call.
The chase down block when it's like a 6-minute stretch of no team scoring. It's 89-89. And I think it still took another minute before Kyrie's shot went down.
I can remember, like, my stomach dropping when I seen Iguodala break, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then out of nowhere, the king just, I'm just going to put this here on this backboard. It's not going to go in.
And while everybody always likes to, get on JR because of what his mental lapse in game 1 of the 2018 finals at the free throw line, you got to give him credit because he was the one that got back with Iguodala, made him change the trajectory and maybe kind of double clutch that layup, allowing James that extra half a second to get that block before it became a goaltend to give points to Golden State. So we'll talk more about those memories later. But right now we're building a team with a lot of young guys that like to be around each other and building an actual team, trying to get back to that point, trying to get to the point of where the Warriors and Celtics were here in 2022, contending for a championship and getting back to the finals. That's what every professional league is about, getting to the top of the mountain. The NBA draft is coming up on Thursday. We have the 14th pick, still consider a lottery pick. It's the end of the lottery. Some people have wanted them to trade it to get a veteran. Some people just want them to take kind of best player available, just keep adding to this young core. I guess overall, Jay, we've talked about this a little bit throughout the different shows, but really what angle should this team take this offseason? More so, are they in starting to buy now mode, or do they still have some time to contend with the young guys that have already gotten that experience, but still kind of build up that young core?
I think they're in buy now mode, but not like how LeBron was. Like when LeBron was here, you were just like, we're going to the finals. We need anything and everything. They need to get good veteran players, I think, but are still young. Like I'm just throwing a name out there, like a Donovan Mitchell, for example, like a player like that who's a veteran player, has a lot of playoff experience, but he's still real young in the prime of his career. We don't necessarily need the back end of their career guys like Richard Jeffersons and stuff like that. But right now, I think the Cavs have a core young players that is good enough to eventually get them to a championship. I think Evan Mobley, once he truly develops, like 2 years from now, and he gets a little bigger on him, it totally fine-tunes all his skills, is going to be a force to reckon with. And I think he will eventually become the face of this team, surpassing even Darius Garland, who was playing unbelievably well last year. Like, he stepped almost up into superstardom. Like, he's a star right now. He's just below, I think, a superstar in the NBA. We need guys like Okoro to develop his game more, and I think he's gotten a little better. And people give him a hard time, but he has gotten better, a little better each year, and we just he needed a little more improvement. And Colin Sexton, I'd like to see him back. I don't know what they're going to do with him or LeVert, but yeah, I think they're on the right path for sure.
I mean, I honestly, I think that they're kind of like a bona fide wing away from truly contending. And I mean, you mentioned Evan Mobley a couple years away. I mean, I guess in like open runs that you kind of see videos of during the off season, he's been kind of raising some eyebrows and stuff of him playing against some bona fide NBA players out there.
And what I'm saying, I think he could become like a Joel Embiid level like player. And when healthy, that guy is unreal.
And he's another one that doesn't do a lot of talking, but his game just seems so ferocious. And Peter, I know Jay and I are the ones that kind of have more of the basketball conversation because, you know, you've talked about on the show. You don't watch it as much or get into it as much, but I think your perspective matters from just kind of like the average Cavs fan, knowing where this team was. They were on the cusp of, you know, trying to get in the playoffs. They made it to the play-in. Probably could have done a lot more. Had some issues towards the end. They kind of sputtered out too close to the finish line, not enough over the finish line, or at least into the playoffs. What way do they go? Do they still need that one more year of maybe minor pieces they bring in and still bring in that draft pick? Or are we starting to see maybe a buy now, more urgency of this front office?
Well, you know, that's a good question. And, you know, one of the things we dealt with a lot of injuries last year too, you know, and I'm not sure what the right answer is. I mean, I would love to see them, if it's the case where, hey, if we can go out and get a veteran, boom, then we're like cementing our place into the playoffs and, you know, making a legitimate run for it. I think that's the way to go. But, you know, the front office I think they've done a spectacular job. So I'm going to defer to them because I'm obviously it's their choice anyways, but you know, I've been impressed with the team that they've put together, and there's a lot, even though they fell short, there's a lot of excitement with this team. And, you know, when I do get a chance to watch a game, you know, I enjoy it. So it's a lot of fun.
I mean, Guardians, they're exceeding our expectations, but the Cavs last year exceeded everyone's expectations, including Vegas didn't see it coming. Like, no one saw that team coming.
No.
Like what they did.
No, they figured they were like, what, two years out before really making a run for anything?
Yeah, and again, for me, it's the wing player. It's the 3-and-D wing player that I feel like they're really missing. And I guess you could say that they tried to bring that guy in with Karis LeVert, but LeVert really didn't get the chance to find his role with this team. I think that they do like LeVert on this team, and be interesting to see him actually go through a full offseason and, you know, training
He's
camp.
still like a shooting guard, though, correct?
He's still like a shooting guard. Like, I'm talking about.
I need a small forward.
In a positionless game, I'm still looking for the position of small forward. And yes, we had the ultimate small forward here for 2 different stints,
Well, that
and
dude
one
was
is the
a utility
championship.
knife of positions, but yeah.
But he's like the exception to every single rule. Like, I'm not even looking for anything close to that level. Like, I'm looking for, as I've always said, with an outfielder for the Guardians, an above average NBA player that can play on the wing, that can play their role and just kind of be that piece, that maybe that missing puzzle piece.
Even if he's just a lockdown defender, that'd be fine. That can hit an open 3.
And Okoro is supposed to be that guy. He's a little bit smaller for a small forward, but I think he loses defensive principles trying to focus on offense too much. And until that offensive game takes off, if it ever does, you know, there's those games where, like, you see him and you see the defensive stalwart that they brought in. And there's other games where guys are just blowing right past him. And you're wondering, like, what's wrong here? And I think it's that, like, mental side to, hey, I got to play both ends. In the NBA, you got to play both ends. If you're going to win a championship or even contend for one, you still have to play both ends. As much as you can't touch.
I mean, the Celtics just got to the finals playing defense.
And you got legitimate. You do have some legitimate stars over there in Jason Tatum. I know he had the record of 100 turnovers in the finals, but he's still young enough where he's still got more time. They got Jaylen Brown over there. They got rid of Kyrie, and those two started to flourish when they thought they had their big 3 with Kyrie, Tatum, and Brown.
But it was Marcus Smart's defense that really, like, that's what got that defense going.
It's those, again, coming back to the little things. Can you do the little things that then take a team much further? Marcus Smart does the little things. As much as we all don't like Draymond Green and the way he kind of goes about playing the game of basketball, in his prime, he was that energy guy, that defender. I mean, look, Andre Iguodala won an NBA Finals MVP for playing defense on LeBron when LeBron was still kind of one of the leaders in stats for both squads in 2015. Just all Kyrie and Kevin Love were gone. Defense still matters. So you got to be able to play both ends. And sometimes, you know, with a guy that does one better than the other, when he gets to the league, maybe it takes a couple years for that to sink in. And hopefully now going into year 3, Isaac Okoro can, if he can develop that corner 3, because he's open. He is open so often. And there were so many times when I was able to actually watch games for the Cavs and didn't have to go through a million different ways to try to get the game on, and you couldn't because of the network that they're on. No names, please. When I was watching games, they were close at the end. And like that momentum 3 that you need from the corner from a guy you don't expect it from, they couldn't get it. He couldn't knock it down. If he can start knocking down that shot more consistently, well, guess what? He is aggressive to the basket. Now you start making it. Now guys got to come out to you more, guard you on that 3-point line. Now you can fake the 3. Now you can go to the hoop and you can ferociously dunk. You can get energy that way. You got to have different elements. I'm not asking you to be as good on defense as you are on offense or vice versa, but you got to have enough to succeed in the NBA and go to the finals like the Warriors and the Celtics did. Now, of course, the Warriors won. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap.
What would have happened if the Celtics won? Boo.
Oh my, boy! First Take was doing like I don't know if you guys saw the video, but Chris Mad Dog Russo is now on there like once a week with Stephen A. And he did his top 5 fan bases, and Cleveland was number 1. Boston,
of course, we were number 1. I mean,
and Boston wasn't even on the list. So then Stephen A. and Molly Quirm were giving him a hard time. In my head, I kept playing the clip of me on this show when I say, I can't stand Boston fans because, oh my God, one team didn't win a championship. 3 months later, the other one did. But now I got to wait 3 more months for the next championship to actually even be played, and my teams haven't won anything. Boo frickin' who, Boston? I don't care. If you are a Golden State fan, boo-hoo, I don't care if you lose. You guys are like think that you're the greatest gifts of the world or whatever. I don't care. You know,
all I know is who's the only team that beat the Warriors at full strength?
The Cavs.
Oh yeah,
in 2016. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when Toronto beat them, there were injuries smattered throughout, and they try to pull the same card that no one allowed us to do in 2015. Oh, but if it's the Warriors,
oh yeah,
don't worry.
Draymond said it. No one beat him, or they never something like that. And
Oh, you can't.
I'm like, dude, you just totally ignore the fact that Kevin Love and Kyrie were hurt the one time, and then you
Oh.
had to bring KD in, and Kyrie had just left. Like,
No,
none of that mattered.
No, those excuses don't matter unless you got strength in numbers. The strength in numbers, guys, and we're so petty. In the Bay Area, we're so petty.
Dude, he's bragging about the Warriors beating us when they had KD, and I'm pretty sure, who do we have? LeBron, Kevin Love, and a bunch of Jags. Like, they're good players.
Yeah, and
But,
and Steph Curry is he is a great player. Klay Thompson, hopefully he can come back from his injury. Like, I don't wish any injury on anybody. Like, the fact that he was able to come back from what he came back from and help his team win a championship. Draymond, you're starting to kind of see Father Time playing a role, but in that system, he can still have an impact. And you got young guys like Jordan Poole who are going to help that team continue to contend. So the Warriors aren't going away just because these players are getting older. I'm just listen to me, everybody, just real quick. Just because they have the same amount of championships does not mean we get to automatically slide Steph Curry from top 15, top 20, all the way up to over LeBron to the conversation of one or two greatest players of all time. Especially when Steph Curry was not the Finals MVP for 3 of the 4 championships, was turning the ball over in Game 7 on his own home floor. The Cavs came back and won down 3-1. I will never say that the Warriors choked it away, but Steph Curry throwing behind the back passes when nobody's there thinking he's the greatest point guard ever. You're not. So he hasn't shown up in big moments until now, so you got to give him credit where credit is due. But when the Cavs came back from down 3-1, you guys recruited and got the ultimate cheat code, the number 2 player in the league at that time, in KD, adding to a roster that was already championship-level material. I mean, how did you not win more?
So you're saying he doesn't belong at the table of the greatest? Now,
he's approaching the
I
table.
conveniently have a list up of great players.
I don't have him in my top 10 yet, but that might change because I know you have greatest players. So
we're going to go through these guys.
Okay.
We're going to say if he's better or worse than LeBron James.
No.
Kareem.
No.
Wilt Chamberlain.
No.
So where are we at? We're at 3. Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
Kobe Bryant.
No.
Michael Jordan.
Before you continue, where's this list from? Just so we have.
Just Google.
Okay.
It's just Google.
Okay. So this is Google list. Like you might see like these players in different orders. Did you say Michael Jordan in numbers?
They're not in order.
Okay, they're not in order. Okay.
I literally just, hey,
Okay.
Google, who are the top 25 all-time greatest players?
Okay, so it's in no particular order, but the names are listed.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're at Kobe. You said, obviously, no.
No.
Michael Jordan, no.
No.
Tim Duncan. I don't think so.
No, the big fundamental, no, because I love the old school basketball like that. Like, as much as I didn't like the Spurs, the bank shot, I mean, that dude
Hakeem
perfected it.
Olajuwon.
Hakeem the Dream, no.
No. Larry Bird.
No.
So you're out of the top 10 now.
I mean, Larry Bird kind of started to revolutionize the jump shot, you know.
Magic Johnson. No.
No.
Kevin Garnett.
Yes.
Yes, we all agreed. He's like right there with him.
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson.
I would say Steph Curry is probably better than Oscar Robertson, even though Oscar Robertson revolutionized the triple-double. We've kind of started to see that's Russell Westbrook has now shown in this kind of league that can kind of come back again.
I would say no, but so we'll disagree on that one. So we'll just call it a wash. Julius Erving.
Yeah.
See, I'd still say no. Those guys are.
I mean, that's.
All right. What about Jerry West? That dude didn't even have a 3-point line, and if he did, he probably would have been putting up Curry numbers back then.
And that's why comparing guys to other eras is so difficult because like the rules are different. Like, yes, credit goes to Steph Curry for revolutionizing the game to what it is now and being the 3-point shot. And
Bill Russell?
Oh no,
no.
I mean, if you want to go championships, he's got 11, so like he should be the greatest player of all time. Like if you want to use that as your only argument,
I'm just trying to get to like
laziest
right
argument.
around where he's at.
The laziest argument in all of sports talk is, oh well, this guy's got more championships than the other. He's automatically better.
Is he a better player than Allen Iverson? This is a good one. I would say no, because Allen Iverson's second best player was Eric. I can't make a jumper. Snow.
Oh yeah. Man, that step over at Tyronn Lue. That's that
he had
image
Theo
is,
Ratliff, I think, as a blocker at one point in Eric Snow.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Korver and like at the end of his career and the beginning of Kyle Korver's career.
And again, a different era. Like, I know Steph Curry hasn't teamed up with people except like helping bring in KD, but that was built through the draft.
Like, I'm just saying, if you put Allen Iverson on those teams,
Right. Like,
I think he'd be better than Curry is.
Again, these different eras.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I would probably still say AI is better, but it's close. Kind of like that's probably the realm that he's in. So I maybe have him like top 15, maybe not top 10, but he's pushing his way into that top 10. And you still have to give him credit. As much as I don't like I sports hate him, you still got to give him credit. And you got to give him credit for revolutionizing the game. My argument would be that he also hurt the game of basketball because you can't even touch a jump shooter. And if they're considered like a superstar, you really can't touch them. Like, that's that whole, like, superstars get the calls, others don't. Like, you can't even, like, I get he's shooting from so deep, and it takes a lot of skill to do that, but you can't go out there and guard him either. So these teams are having a hard time figuring out how to defend because, fingernail just grazed him maybe. They somehow saw that without having to.
I blame James Harden more for that.
Oh, James Harden.
He's the worst when it comes to that.
Oh, the travel. He's made it even worse. The fact that the NBA refs don't call travels.
The travel, and that dude just constantly is trying to get people to, like, lean into him and get foul free throws. Like, it's ridiculous amount. If LeBron got the calls that James Harden got, he would already probably be leading the league in all-time scoring.
Yeah, that's probably true. LeBron struggles with the free throw line. LeBron's got his issues. Like, he flops a lot. Like, I'm a huge LeBron fan, and I will defend him for a long time. But I can always admit to what the fault of the player is. That's where some people, when they have these comparison conversations, that's where it gets lost. That's where the realism gets taken out of it.
There's never been a complete perfect basketball player. He doesn't exist.
No
one's perfect. Breaking news. Like, if Jesus was out there on the court, he'd be the only perfect basketball player because he could probably just walk over top y'all and just dunk and then walk back down on air.
And if you are a listener or viewer that believes in it, I don't know that that God that is considered his almighty father would have even let him use those powers to then do it. He would have told him to go do it yourself, probably. That's,
Yeah, but kids don't listen.
I guess. Well, yeah, even Jesus didn't listen, right?
Yeah,
stories,
I just got a feeling Jesus could handle the ball. I bet he could definitely.
He's a baller.
Oh yeah,
Jesus is a baller.
Kind of like Kyrie Irving handles, man.
So look for that shirt on.
Jesus is a baller. Oh, what a shirt!
Hashtag Jesus is a baller. Get that trending on Twitter if you're listening or watching right now. Appreciate all the new subscribers and followers on Twitter. We're like way over time, so let's take a break. We gotta tell people how they can, even though you're not on the commercial yet, how they can get merch with your face on it. We'll have all that information and more in this break. We'll be back.
Awesome coffee cups that our producer bought us today.
We'll be back with a difficult conversation right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. We're kind of going through some of the new merch. Jay has something that will be available very, very soon. Our producer, Peter Telep, will be getting it up on the site, but a new mug released with our cool new background. Our sponsor, Vector Technical, as you just heard from them as well. Big Plays logo is on there, and so you get our cartoon faces right there on a mug. So get your morning coffee, the right way, pour it into a Voice of the Land mug. Make sure you head on over to voiceoftheland.com.
Got a nice size to it too. So I mean, I don't like small coffee mugs.
There's two sizes available. So that's like I think the 15 ounce, and I think there's like a 10 ounce one.
Yeah, we go the 15 ounce.
Oh,
Yeah. So get your coffee mug, voiceoftheland.com /shop or /shop. I always get those /shop. and just go to voiceoftheland.com and the links will be there. So just head on over to the shop and get your new Voice of the Land mug. Sorry if you need to replace one with Paulus's face on it. You can keep that one too. We got it.
They're still up there. You can get whatever you
It's
really
vintage.
want. But
Vintage. Keep the OGs and get the new Gs.
collect them all.
Collect them all right here on the Voice of the Land. But we've been having some fun in this show. We've been talking a lot and having some good conversations. We're not going to spend a lot of time, and I know that that's sacrilegious in a football town on the Browns, but they're taking their summer break. They just finished up mini camp. And really the only thing that hangs over this team and why we can't talk football and why it is our job to make sure we keep the conversation that should be the conversation at the forefront. It's not going to be a long conversation, but we still need to have it, and that is this dark cloud hovering over them with the Deshaun Watson ordeal, the alleged sexual misconduct. I know it's still at 24. I don't know that they ever had the other two that were supposed to happen earlier this week actually ever come down.
I'm not sure.
So I think it's still at 24 civil lawsuits for sexual misconduct against Deshaun Watson. And we've had stories come out this week, one from Yahoo with Charles Robinson, where it had some kind of quotes from depositions of the attorneys talking to one of the investigators who brought the case to where grand juries did not indict. 2 grand juries have not indicted Deshaun Watson on any criminal charges, so it's all still civil. And the investigator talking about how, these allegations are brought to them and they consider the person in question guilty until proven innocent, when we've kind of been under the understanding that our justice system is
the opposite.
Innocent until proven guilty, and only in the court of public opinion was it the reverse. But we're hearing from investigators that maybe that's not the case. That's, that kind of leads you to think like there's something going on against Deshaun Watson. The Washington Post comes out, I think it was yesterday or the night before, saying that, there's word that Deshaun Watson's camp or people involved with these cases are thinking that this could be a significant suspension, if not like a full year suspension. This whole conversation can take us so many different ways.
Totally.
I think the biggest thing is, my issue with the NFL is nothing is ever consistent, because there are so many, and this whole conversation of like, well, don't worry, he'll be on the football field at some point. He's going to play, because these things, everybody forgets about him. As soon as they throw touchdown passes, everybody forgets about him. They all get thrown underneath the rug. None of the information that comes out until we know the actual truth should ever be just swept under the rug, especially in professional sports and really in the NFL. There are owners who have allegations against them that they don't seem to get the same kind of attention that cases like Deshaun Watson's or other players.
Which the NFLPA has brought up against all this right now, and who's defended Watson.
Right, and they're supposed to be, the owners are supposed to be held to a higher standard. So,
and again, it's like, oh, well, just because it's been this way, we'll just leave it. I know, I'm one of the few people that I guess I'm trying to take on the NFL, but not at the same time. I understand how big of a conglomerate it is, and I know how little our voice here is of the Voice of the Land for right now, but change only happens when you're willing to go against the norm. And I don't think that any conversation that is needed where societal issues or alleged acts come into it, like off-the-field issues come into the football conversation to become the spotlight instead of a football conversation. Change only happens, and we only see a different NFL and a different way to approach these stories moving forward, so that they don't just get swept under the rug and other people don't get affected in the future in a similar manner. Change only happens when you're willing to make that change or go against the norm. That's for me, like that's the biggest conversation, and why I feel uncomfortable with all of this is because there's so much going on, and now the Browns are involved. Like the team that I root for here in Cleveland involved themselves by trading for this guy, whether he did it or he didn't. Now we got to have all these conversations, and it is our job to talk about the off the field conversations and stories and rumors, things like that, figuring out how long is this guy going to be available or not available to us this season when we've kind of pushed all our chips football-wise to the center of the table, for lack of a better term. You got a lot of guys that you brought back on one-year deals. If he can't play at all this year, even through an appeal of a suspension, it's a whole wasted year. And the way the NFL treats all these kind of stories and the way that they operate and thinking their investigations matter more than legal investigations, and that they're going to kind of push a hefty punishment on a guy that is saying that he's innocent and not able to go through that process to prove that before being suspended. Like, it's just, it all feels uncomfortable and something needs to change.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I don't know what else to say. You pretty much covered that pretty good.
All right, well, we're going to go on to our next.
And, like, we just keep saying, like, we're not here to predict what's going to happen. We're not in that position. That's not our job.
100%.
All we keep doing is wishing everyone gets what they deserve. Like, if Deshaun Watson deserves a 1-year suspension and that's how it works out, so be it. If he doesn't deserve to be suspended, he's found innocent, then so be it. If these people deserve to get the money they feel that they're owed, so be it. If they aren't owed and this is all fabricated and they get nothing, so be it. That's not our position. We're just trying to relay the information to you guys.
Yeah, and because of all of the arguments that are going on and people.
There's just so many angles to this. Like,
yeah, it's so, and again, it is very difficult to talk about. And if you can focus on the football, we keep saying it. If you can focus on the football, more power to you. If you want to have these conversations, more power to you. Every opinion here is valid to a certain extent. There's always those exceptions, and in a conversation like this,
Sith Lord's only dealing absolutes. So,
yeah, well, we're not Sith Lords,
No.
so
Jedi kind of were pretty absolute about some things.
Yeah, that's true too.
So, anyway, I wish we could focus on the football because I wish that's all we had to talk about.
like, we have the most loaded team that any of us have ever seen in our life.
Right.
With the quarterback that is a top 5 quarterback, and we have yet to enjoy this. Like, Nick Chubb ain't getting any younger. Kareem Hunt ain't getting younger. Myles Garrett ain't getting younger.
And the contracts aren't getting any longer.
No.
Like, we don't have them for an exorbitant amount of time. Like, we can waste a year. We really can't, football-wise.
How weird. I'm just going to throw this out there. How crazy would it be if Watson does get suspended for the year? Browns are in the Super Bowl with Brissett.
I mean, that would be absolutely crazy.
I mean, we have such a loaded team.
I'd be pumped. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would be all kind of ecstatic for going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, credit, discredit, however you want to put it to Browns fans. There's going to be those that if the year-long suspension hits and it stays and it sticks to Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback, there's going to be plenty of people saying, like, we're better off with him at the helm anyways. And,
Well, I mean, not the,
Because we're with you, win or tie, just like one of our former guests, Tony Rizzo, has always said. And always told
not to throw
players.
Baker under the bus, but there are plenty of games where if Baker would have just made a little bit better decision.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone was saying,
and
like,
I get, and I kind of appreciate the fact that he's a guy that wanted to go out there and win, and sometimes he did that to his own detriment.
Yep.
It's
To a
hard
fault.
detriment, right? Yeah,
And
to a fault.
Yeah, it wasn't just like you said, it wasn't to just his detriment. It ended up being to the team's detriment when he said he wasn't for that. And we have talked about when we have said that we were behind him coming back. We said what issues needed to be fixed and what he needed to look in a mirror and fix. And there is plenty. Whoever he ends up playing for again, if you want to stay in this league because you have the talent to do so, Baker, you're going to have to fix those things where you think that you are, indestructible, or that, just because one thing bad happens to you, it's not going to snowball. Well, guess what? It did. Use that as a lesson, and I hope he has success moving forward. I'm not one of these people that put so much behind him when he was drafted and now so pissed at him and thinking he's worse than he actually is as a person, as a player, because that didn't come to fruition, and he's not going to be here for his whole career. Like, stop doing that. If you don't like the guy, move on. You're focused on the Browns, fine. All of these conversations are valid. I wish people would stop fighting and thinking that only their side matters, and if anybody disagrees, like they're a terrible person. Emmett Golden had, just in conversations with him from 850 ESPN Cleveland, has said this. Just because someone disagrees with you in one conversation or a couple conversations, it does not make them a bad person. It just means we got to listen more, understand why that person disagrees. We don't have to convince them to agree with us either. In any conversation or debate, that doesn't have to be the end goal. But there better be a mutual understanding of why one person feels one way, why the other person feels the other way, and we'd be so much better off in sports conversations in general. That's what I'm most sick of, and why we have these realistic conversations is to help those that are on the same page as us kind of truly see the light and not allow those on Twitter and wherever they are that can't see it or put on these blinders, try to help them out in any way that we can. And prayers right now to
fire take over there. You set the alarm off apparently.
Hey,
there's fire trucks out in the background.
I think we leave the conversation there. Again, we're probably gonna have to keep talking about this because until it's resolved, we're gonna have to keep talking about it. And more stories are gonna come out like they did this week. So, unfortunately, speaking of fire trucks, there is an event going on in the flats that we're gonna talk about next. Unfortunately, there was a fire down in the flats.
I was just gonna say, I just saw the pictures. Like, it wasn't like a fire. It was like little brush fires all over.
Yeah, because
it looked crazy, like a horror movie film.
Man, the wind has been worse than it's not as strong as most strong wind days
I just hope that goes away before the event we're talking about.
I think that they got it out. I know that it smells like smoke down there in the flats, and there was mulch and ash all over cars and stuff. So there's a big event going on. We're going to promote it and kind of talk about our championship memories on the other side of the break. Stay tuned right here to the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back one final time on this Sunday night to this pre-recorded live edition of The Voice of the Land here on Father's Day and Juneteenth. Of course, again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And on this date, exactly 6 years ago, the Cavs came back down 3-1 in the NBA Finals in 2016 and won the franchise's first ever NBA championship, the city's first championship in 52 years on Father's Day. A lot of sons, fathers, grandfathers that came together that day. It made for a much more special Father's Day that day. We're going to start there because we'll talk about how you can dunk Jay in just a second, but kind of pushed us off enough. We're wearing the shirts for a reason. So
no, I mean,
we talked about it in the break. I kind of flipped the direction of this segment.
We do what we want. It's our show.
It is. It is our show. Peter and I have had a chance to kind of talk about our memories, and you guys can go back on podcast platforms, maybe even on YouTube, to conversations we've had in the past about our memories. But Jay, I wanted to give you a chance to kind of give your memories, and then just share one memory I haven't really focused on because of it being Father's Day. So go, Jay, like your memories of that day, the parade, whatever.
Well, to lead up to the day, like I was on vacation down in Florida. It would have been game 4. When we officially went down 3-1. I was watching it down in Florida on vacation. Woke up the next morning, had the weirdest feeling in the world. Like I knew. It's like I knew. I'm like, we're coming back. Like we're about to make history. If I wish I could find it, and I sent Casey Coulis a text. I'm like, hey, mark my word, the Cavs are going to make history and be the first team ever to come back from down 3-1. We win the next one, then we win the next one, and it's Game 7. And I've watched most of these with my soon-to-be brother-in-law because he's a huge Cavs fan, and we just watched all the games there. Game 7, I treat it like I do the Buckeyes Wolverine game. I'm like, I can't watch it with anybody. Like, I'm a nervous wreck. I just got to be alone. Like, it was me and Tiffany in our apartment with our cats, and I just watched it on my projector screen, and oh my God, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I lost years or gained years on my life from that game. Like,
I think both.
Like we were talking about that, just that play alone, I'm pretty sure I lost 5 years and then gained 10 back. So yeah, it was just unbelievable. As soon as we win it all, I just start jumping up and down, going completely nuts. Thank God my neighbors downstairs were already awake because I can hear them yelling and screaming. Run down the street in the streets of Parma. People down the street have a huge watch party going on. They have like a huge inflatable thing with the projector going out in a fire pit. I'm just high-fiving people down the street like, we're champs, we did it, oh my God, we did it. And I felt like it was like you win a game in a championship of your own. I'm just high-fiving everyone like, oh, I felt like I won a championship. Like, you could have told me I might have been Jamie Foxx in that locker room. Like, I was on that court with the team and everything. No, it was just an unreal, unbelievable, never forgetting moment of my life.
On the parade, I mean, did you get a chance to go to the parade?
Oh, yeah, I went down to the parade.
Yeah, I mean, where were you at for?
By the free stamp.
Okay.
Watching those people climb all over that and just... That was just a show in itself, and those kids were making me nervous sometimes growing up there. I'm like, dude, please don't fall. I do not want to see someone fall on this great day. No one fell, thank God.
And that was pretty close to where they ended up doing like the stage ceremony part of the parade, right? Yeah. Peter, I mean, again, we've talked about it a lot, but just briefly, I mean, just
yeah, I mean, my kids were asleep, and we woke them up yelling and screaming when it happened, and that block, that was I mean, that was like. I was waiting for it to be called, like a goaltend or something. I'm just like, holy, did that really just happen? It's like, did that really just happen? And yeah, we were, we were at Dick's the next morning. We were in line early, got our shirts. And it was an amazing feeling, and I was down at the parade.
I've never worn this shirt. I bought the championship that they had, and I was gonna wear it today. I'm like, no, I've actually never worn this.
I've got a couple. I got the burgundy one, or the wine, one, and I got the gray one. So we all got them. Fantastic, and yeah, I was down at around the corner of 9th and Sumner, right there by the cemetery is where I watched the parade from, and we were like right in the street.
I want to get one of the replica rings. That's like a goal of mine. Like I have to have one of those in my lifetime.
Yeah, because I mean, I just working for what I work for. I mean, he's the CEO of the company. He's a minority owner with the Bucks, and he has a championship ring. So I got to wear like an NBA championship ring. So like being an appreciator of the history of the game, that was really cool for me. But yeah, I would love to have a Cavs one. And I mean, you guys know, like I've told you guys this story. I've told it on here. Like I had to watch Game 6 the way I watched Game 5 because they came back. Like I was a part of a wedding during Game 4, and instead of being a part of like the festivities of the reception, I'm in the bar area and I don't really drink. I'm just sitting there watching the game because that was the only way to watch the game. And they go down 3-1, and like the car ride home from Aurora to Wickliffe was like it's 40 minutes, and it felt like a million years. And then, so I watched Game 5 by myself in the top corner of the house. And I watched Game 6 by myself in the top corner of the house. And we're 3-3. And I had to do the same way, just like you did, Jay. Like, I had to watch Game 7 that same way. And, like, everything's happened. I'm screaming with the last plays, the block, the shot, the stop. Buzzer sounds, Cleveland, this is for you. I'm kissing the championship to the TV like these guys are. Like, and then, like, I'm calling my sister. I'm telling her, hey, I gotta see the Larry O'Brien trophy be handed to LeBron and be handed to the team. Go get in line at Dick's. We're going right now. We're gonna do this tonight. We're getting the championship shirts tonight. So, we made sure we got the shirts. Was at the parade. I was actually camp counselor at CSU that day, and I was in the morning session. So like we're checking the kids in like 7:00 in the morning. I'm seeing people like starting to walk by with their chairs and everything, walking all the way down to East 9th Street and everything. So we're like, oh man, are we gonna get out on time? We're gonna find a spot. We found a spot. It's like that building that I think it's like 1717. It's like big address in front of it. I think it's close to like St. Clair. So we found a spot there, and just again, I've loved the game of basketball for so long, and this championship will probably mean more to me than any other if this city wins another one. I say that now. I can't hold myself to that, and I will love every.
So, Cavs champion. Like, if you could have, let's say the Cavs never won one of the three teams. They're like, Kevin, you get one championship of all these three teams your whole life. Which team would you pick?
Cavs.
Cavs, Peter.
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'd have
Same.
It would be between the Guardians and the Browns.
Same here, and like
not to dismiss the Cavs at all. I mean,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
I think the 97 and 95 and now the 2001 losing in 3 World Series pushes the Guardians / Indians and stuff back up there. But I love football. Like, I love the sport of football. Like, me and Kevin and his friend, we're going to playfully talk about soccer and what's better.
That 2016 loss to the Cubs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that hurt. That one didn't hurt as bad as 97 to me.
90.
The Cavs winning a championship
helped.
Made the World Series loss in that same year tolerable. Like, it definitely helped that
it still hurt, but it wasn't. Yeah, you're right.
Like, the Monsters won, Stipe won, Cavs won, and then the Indians lost, and it sucked and it hurt, but it helped absorb that pain. 97, I was like 13 years old, and I cried the whole night. I could not sleep. I kept having nightmares. I was like, oh, we're going to win, and there was just some weird new way we'd lose, and I kept losing this game over and over all night.
I was 22. I cried the whole night, too, so don't feel so bad.
No, I mean, dude, growing up, I used to like the Marlins when they started because I was always partial to Florida teams. My grandparents living there. After that, to this day, I hate the Marlins. Like, I can't stand that stupid fish, and that's the reason I want to go catch one, so I can just yell at him and be like, screw your baseball team, stupid Marlin.
I will say 97, that's probably like mine as a kid growing up. That was my indoctrination into what it was to be a Cleveland fan because like I was too young to stay up for it, but I woke up and like the first thing I asked, I didn't say hi, I didn't say good morning to my parents, getting ready for school. I said, did they win? And I was told what happened. And I was like crying all day in school. So, but like 2016 World Series still stung a lot. Like I can't say, it stung less because the Cavs won. Because if I were to describe it with the 3 teams, yes, I would pick the Cavs out of the 3. But it's like the Cavs finish or go across the finish line just in a gap, just enough that you don't need a photo finish, but you need a photo finish for like the Guardians and the Browns. But like Guardians would probably edge out the Browns. And that comes back to family for me.
Yeah.
Cavs and Guardians, baseball and basketball have family roots. Like I was taught those games from my family, baseball from my grandfather and basketball from my father. And that's why Father's Day always means so much. And that's why this 6th-year anniversary being on Father's Day means so much because my sister, my sister and I were in line at Dick's and my dad comes out there, finds us in line, and like him and I didn't have to speak any words to each other. I'll never forget this moment for the rest of my life. Just the look in each other's eyes, the pride, the love of the game, and to have our team holding a Larry O'Brien trophy and knowing
we were champions.
Knowing we were champions after seeing all these great players and great teams, and learning the history, watching the VHS tapes of them being handed a trophy, watching teams in the past be handing the trophy instead of LeBron and the Cavs. To have that moment, we looked at each other, we shared a huge hug, and I could tell he was crying, I was crying, and it means so much. And it's going to be celebrated a lot. Now we're past the 5-year anniversary, so we'll kind of go like every 5 years again. It's kind of be like bigger deal. Where I work at ESPN Cleveland, we were thinking about making it a big deal using our block party coming up on Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Old River Road in the Flats. I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to do.
They don't care if you're promoting their party.
I'm not gonna try to go like through like the full live read.
We're fortunate that we're friends with like everybody that
Yes.
works there. No one's gonna
Yes.
give us any crap. I don't think ever.
we were gonna try like theme it around like the 6th anniversary of the parade, but like just the way things plan out and what's available, what's not. Doing it on Thursday and just like the first get together, like the big get together, and that's kind of our summer event focus of this week. And we've been kind of doing that a little bit. We're way over time.
As always.
As always. But I mean, there's going to be video game trucks. There's going to be plenty of food and drinks, and the shows are going to be live. All this kind of stuff. It is a block party. It's outside. It's in the flats, and it is going to be an awesome time just for people to get together, and it'll be family friendly. The biggest thing though is you got a chance if you are listening or watching the show. You want to dunk Jay, APJ in a
Bring
dunk
it.
tank? He will be in the dunk tank scheduled from 1:30 to 2. Come on up. I think you saw you have to buy tickets to get the chance, just like any game, like with that kind of like carnival stuff or whatever.
This is for charity.
But it's for charity. It's supporting Muttley Crew, dog rescue place, animal rescue place, which we all love animals. Like this is like
That's a great name.
Yeah, it is a great
it's
name.
not Motley Crue, it's not the band, which I guess
Motley Crue.
just it came back for like their first show all together, and Tommy Lee like had to leave in 5 minutes after starting because he broke ribs before, and his doctors told him he shouldn't be doing it. So he at least wanted to start the show, but couldn't actually keep going. But Jay's gonna be in a dunk tank.
If you think you got the arm, which I don't think you do, come and try to dunk me. I dare you to try to come dunk me. My John, who was in our comments last week, was telling me on Twitter he's going to come sink me. I was like, dude, you ain't even got an arm strong enough to hit it. He ain't going to get it there. I don't think any of you guys can sink me. I'm just taunting you to come out and get me.
So hey,
It's hard because I'm always positive Jay. So it's like not a lot of people really don't like me to want to dunk me. And I got to follow like Aaron Goldhammer, who's going to have a line. And then I'm going to get up there and be like, man, I'm not doing my part. So, yeah, I got to talk some trash out there and make people want to dunk me. So, if you're saying I'm not always positive, I'm doing it for a positive cause.
There you go. See, always finding the positive spin.
I
on it.
will, dude. That's my goal in life is always find that positive spin.
I'll be working, but if you don't have a line to start, just yell out that you need.
Oh, I told you, I'm calling you out, and I'm going
Yeah.
to make sure that they give
Okay.
you a break to come over.
Okay.
You know me, I don't ask, with those guys, I don't ask for permission. I just ask for forgiveness.
And we're gonna have you donned in like in a new style of a T-shirt, so that anybody that wants to tune into the show or hadn't heard about us before, there's
You
gonna
just
be.
come scan my back, apparently, because there's a giant QR code on the back of me now.
So hey,
If FedEx or whoever's delivering
Yeah.
it gets it here in
yeah,
time.
please.
Thoughts
please.
and prayers to FedEx and UPS and all our mail carriers out there.
Oh man. It's going to be a fun time. And, like, hey, if you can't get off work because it is during the middle of the week and some people have Monday off.
Colin
this week-
sick.
Colin's, I'm not going to.
I'm on vacation for Thursday and Friday. I have vacation days.
I'm not promoting, like, Colin is sick or anything, but, it is 9 to 9, and I think there's, like, an after party at one of the places, like Goodnight John Boy
Good
or
night,
something.
Johnny's or something like that.
Goodnight John Boy is, like, the after party. So, like, from 9 a.m. on Thursday to 1 a.m. on Friday, something's going to be going on, so there's plenty of time.
Well, I'm sure we'll have some good stories from this next Sunday.
Oh, I'm sure. Again, I'm sorry to my bosses if I'm not allowed to be doing this right now because we're not affiliated at all, and I don't, I try to keep everything separate, and I don't like to.
You
to
do a
tout
great
that.
job at it because you do a better job than I would. I'd be flaunting it all over the place.
I want to earn my keep. I want to earn my way. So, I will always try to toe that line until I don't have to anymore. And I'll probably still toe the line then. So that's just who I am, who I always will be. But I'm sorry.
Hey, they're putting me in the dunk tank. I'm on the show. Guess what? We're promoting it.
Yeah.
If you're mad at anyone, be mad at me. Leave Kevin alone because I don't work for you. You can't fire me anyways.
If I wasn't working there right now anyways, we'd probably still promote that you were in the dunk tank. It
Probably.
Just so happens I work there. So, like,
Gotta watch your back.
I just have a little bit more detail of what's going on around it. Like, it's not just to dunk you or dunk people in a dunk tank. There's plenty more activities to do. I just wanted to make
I'm
sure
looking
that's out
forward
there.
to all the food trucks. Like, I'm a foodie, and I can't wait to see
Yeah.
which food trucks
So-
are going to be down there.
And all the all the establishments open at different times down there too. So, like, it's just still a traditional day in the flats. So, like, come out, enjoy, and again, my bosses, if you're listening, watching, I'm sorry if I wasn't supposed to do this, but I'm trying to help any way I can. I told you that from day one. I will help any way that I can.
Well,
So-
you're going above and beyond. That's part of your core values there at that company. If
Hey,
I'm
man.
correct.
He said it.
I know the core values.
I
I've
did.
listened to this show way too
I'm
long.
not pulling that card,
I pulled it.
but he's not wrong.
Fish, deal with me.
On that note of core values, our core value is to always go over our time here at the Voice of the Land.
The funny part is, peel back the curtain. Kevin's like, all right, today we're going to really try to keep down to 60 minutes. We're at 75. That's what we do. When we have fun, you just kind of forget about the time.
While I have like upper management attention, I can keep to a show clock. It's just this group is just a different animal. So so don't worry, I'm capable of that too. I can do it. 4 always positive, Jay. And our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tillip, better known as Audio. I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. Truly love you all 3,000. Happy Father's Day to all the father figures out there. And as our great late friend Mike Allen always used to say, with special prayers out to Jay Allen and his family, all gas, no brakes. We'll see you next time, maybe live, maybe pre-recorded, right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.